We're Polaris. I'm Josh.
I'm Matt.
And we're here in the beautiful Cairngorms in mid-January. It is about -6 out at the minute, so it's super chilly. We've been testing Thrudark's kit over the past week.
So we've paid for this equipment ourselves. We're not promoted by Thrudark at all. We've shelled out the pennies for this and we want to put it to the test. We go all over the world doing expeditions in the deserts, the jungles, at high altitude, in the cold places. And when we saw the Thrudark stuff, we thought it was very interesting. Stas and Louis, who are the two main founders of Thrudark, there's got a great team behind them as well with Tommy and some others. They brought out this line of equipment that just really interested us. Because we do lots of different things, often you might spend a lot of money on some mountaineering gear, but then you might be doing some bushcraft in the woods on a different day. And it would be great to try and find some kit that would almost tick all of those boxes. Now, we're going to do a review of this equipment, and we know that every single person out there who has ever bought any piece of kit, we all have our own small opinions on the way we want things to be. So we're going to be a little bit generalistic and a little bit pinpointed as well in different areas where we think the kit is performing really well and where it could use some improvements.
Okay, so we'll start with the guard beanie. It's 100% merino wool. I really like this beanie. I have a particularly large head and it fits my head well. It's kept my head very warm over the last week in some really horrible conditions.
So the guard beanie, it is 100% merino. I really like it. The one thing that I wish it did have was a little bit more elasticity. Maybe I've just got a short, small, thin head or something, but when I put it on my head, it kind of went a bit big and stayed a bit big, and I've got a little bit of room under here. But apart from that, the warmth factor and the comfort level on it is perfect. Yeah. It's really good
for its size as well. I'm quite impressed with that. Often you get you get lined hats, maybe they're synthetic as well in there, and they're quite chunky.
Yeah.
But this does the job. It packs down really small, so you can put it in your pocket and forget it's there. You haven't got this big lump to cart round.
Definitely.
And when you want warm, it's warm.
The weight to warmth effective ratio on that is top end. Yeah. It's really good.
Yeah, I really like that.
So a bit more elastic in it for me, and I'd be dead happy.
Yeah.
So working from head to toe, the next piece of equipment is the Stealth balaclava. I've got it around my neck, and I think if you don't have a lot of money to spend on anything to start off with, this should be one of the first pieces of kit you should get. This is without a doubt the best balaclava I have ever put on for an outdoor environment. And there's two reasons for it. We were in minus 15 odd degrees the other day at camping at 1100 meters over near Glen Affric, and we had 30-40 mile an hour winds hitting us in the face, and this very thin garment really kept the warmth in and the cold out. It was very good. The other thing I love about this is the ninja style hinge, which if I trace my finger back to here, that's where it's knitted in. So if I want to then take it off, the headpiece comes off and the nose piece stays exactly where it is, and it's extremely comfortable. It doesn't go tight when you try to stretch it over the back of your head. It just stays exactly where it is. So you can have it either way. You can put your hat back on, you can pull it off your face, and it does the multifunction really well.
So the next garment that we'll talk about is the Stealth base layer. Again, this is thick, I think, for a base layer right against your skin, but we've tested this rigorously in the last few days. Some of the ascents that we've been doing, we've been working really hard through knee to waist deep snow. So because we're working hard, we haven't got any thick jackets on, and even with 30 to 40 mile an hour wind blasting us, this base layer has kept us extremely warm at the same time as wicking away loads and loads of moisture. So I'm really, really impressed with this piece of kit.
It's probably one of the best pieces of kit I've ever put on, the stealth base layer. You can tell that the designers, so Staz and Louis, the founders, and Tommy and the other guys at Thrudark, you can tell they've been to really tough places because the kit that they've designed and created has incredible properties to not just keep you warm, but to regulate your temperature as well. And the stealth is brilliant at that. We were in minus 18 degrees the other day with high winds smacking into us on the peaks. And I was wearing the stealth base layer and then the Aegis shell and nothing else in between. So I was literally wearing a base layer and then my shell jacket with all my vents open because I was so warm at those kinds of temperatures and wind speeds. So that base layer is, I think it's an iconic piece that will definitely stand the test of time. It's really, really well made.
They also do trouser variant. We haven't got those. We've got the Mantra, which we'll talk about in a second. But yeah, certainly the top bottom layer plus a balaclava with the shell on top. When you're working really hard, when you're building up a sweat, really powerful combination.
It's a winning combination really, because I love everything Arc'teryx. So I look at the top end mountaineering gear for my kind of standard when I go outdoors. And the Thrudark stuff in that area does compete with that, because when you only need a base layer and a shell, you are either not packing a mid layer or you've got it in your bag. You're actually cutting the weight down on the amount of kit that you're taking out with you on the hill, which is, for me, is really good. The next piece of kit that we've taken out with us is the Phalanx fleece. This was actually the first bit of Thrudark kit that I bought, mainly because I was very interested in its design. The fleece has this brilliant kind of feathered texture to it, and when you brush against it, you can see the holes in the fibres, which again allow fantastic ability for wicking moisture away. This is again a super warm mid layer, and I actually haven't worn this much this week, but when we stop and we're either setting up base camp or we're cooking some food, this goes on and straight away my warmth just increases absolutely massively. The one thing that I do wish this was a little bit changed, Josh was talking about how he likes his stuff to be a bit baggy. My personal preference is to have things a little bit more tapered, and I would like just maybe 2 or 3 centimeters tapering down off the wrists, just to take away a bit of that material to give it a little bit more of a fit. But I am a really kind of a thin, lightweight, skinnier guy, so some people who have real muscles might actually not be too bothered about that. Another really good thing about this garment is the hood. It's helmet ready, so it's got enough space for your helmet to go inside, but it actually hugs your face really well also. So when you're out and about, it really blocks out the wind, and you still get good sound penetration through it as well, which is fantastic.
Okay, so next piece of gear is the Engage. This is a fantastic jacket as far as I'm concerned. The hood, again, is helmet ready, so any climbers out there, this is really useful. It's got a bungee on the back, so you can loosen that right off, and it gives you loads and loads of space for your lid. Obviously, when you don't want that, when you haven't got your lid on, then that cinches down really tightly. and zips up. And then you've also got bungees here to really hug the face. In the conditions we were walking in the other day, this was perfect.
This is definitely one of the best fitting hoods, and in fact actually for Thrudark, I think all their hoods on all their garments are absolutely dead on.
Yeah.
There are so many different brands that I've worn where I'm in the mountains and a gust of wind gets into your hood, blows it up or off your head completely, and with all the garments that Thrudark do, it just doesn't do that. They've designed them so that they can grip your head in more than one place, and you get a nice seam around the face so that you keep the heat in.
Yeah, and it cuts out that bitey wind, it stops the painful ears.
Absolutely.
It's so comfortable. I like the peak as well, so you can get that just right. Sometimes you've got a blinding sun like we've got today and you're trying to do an ascent and you're picking your way through snow on a boulder field. You need good visibility, so sometimes that's just what you want. Onto the sleeves. I've not seen these before. These cuffs are really cool. In the rain, if you've got your shell over the top, your waterproof layer, you do get water ingress. It's sort of inevitable. If you're climbing or if you're scrambling, you put a hand up, you're going to have water travel down your sleeve. So the insulation on most jackets gets wet, and if it's down, that's even more of a problem. But these clever, I don't know what material that is, but that's quite stretchy. It hugs your wrist first off really, really nicely, and then it's kind of inconsequential if that gets damp. When you warm up again, or when you come out of those wet conditions, that dries exceptionally quickly.
Yeah, it dries really quick.
Which you don't really have the luxury of if that's insulation, or worse, down insulation.
When you're using ice axes and you're picking away, or when you're using a shovel in the snow, that's the bit where you're going to maybe potentially get a little bit of snow going down the cuff of the garment. Yeah. And you're right, it gets wet there, but the way they've designed it, it dries out exceptionally quickly. So I think that's a brilliant idea.
It's very cool. So I'll open it up now and take a look at the inside. I mean, I like pockets galore. You've got a really nice big pocket there that you can just stow something away really quickly. I've had slightly damp gloves in there drying next to my body heat. That's very cool. Phone pocket, that's great. Keep your lithium batteries nice and warm. Other side, another stow pocket. That's very cool. When you've got your pack on, and I'll do this up. When you've got your pack on and you've got your Welsh buckle done up tight, often that makes your pockets inaccessible for either items you've got in there, or if you don't want to be wearing your gloves, just your hands going in there. But this is really clever. You've got really long zips, nice deep pockets low down, so that's often where the kit goes. But up here, you've got a nice section for hands as well. So even if you had a belt buckle clipped in and you think, oh, I want to ditch this glove just for a moment, that goes in there, zip it up, and it stays above your buckle line. I think that's really cool.
You can also get a ordnance survey map in a pocket as well, which I really like.
Which is an awkward piece of shaped item, really.
It's a big piece of kit.
There's not many pockets that they can go in,
yeah.
So it's quite accommodating for that.
And it's great, it fits in there perfectly, nice and easy, and it gets it out of the way.
The other thing I quite like on this, I'm just going to stand up for this one, is the fit. I'm a longer lad, and often I have ride-up problems if I lift my arms up. I don't get this on this garment at all. This cinches down really tightly if I want it to, but for me that's perfect. It's not baggy at all. Sometimes you get, I've had jackets that go really baggy at the back. I need that extra length, so I've gone extra large, but that means I've got this extra baggy bit. But I don't have this at all. It's for me and my body build, It really is, it's quite streamlined.
I also like how when you incorporate that jacket with the Aegis jacket over the top, that fits about an inch higher than the Aegis jacket. So if you're in torrential rain, you're not going to get a lot of water collecting at the bottom of your Aegis, touching your mid layer and then going up inside the shell. So they've thought about it really well, how they've kind of incorporated the mid layer to the outer layer, and some companies don't do that. They just have, well, this is a mid layer, and they haven't thought about how the outer layer then fits onto it. And I think these guys have, and the combination fits brilliantly well. So Josh and I are both wearing the Katana bib pant by Thrudark. Now, I know that this is a ski snowboarding kind of more sports pant probably than a mountaineering pant, but we saw these and bought these before the brand new Aegis mountaineering trouser, which has just come out this week. The reason we got these is because when we go mountaineering, we like a bib pant because it keeps the snow out, and it's just better for keeping the water and the rain out as well because it's cut so high. So I'm going to show it to you, and we're going to have a little talk about what we think, how good it is and how it's operated for us in the last week. Starting at the top, you have these brilliant magnetic clips for the bungees. If you're skiing or snowboarding and you don't want to take your gloves off, this is a brilliant design. The one thing I don't like about it, which only happened when I put my pack on, was that these big square clips actually sit right where I'm going to be wearing my backpack. And if that backpack has any weight in it, then that's going to start cutting into my collarbone and the top of my chest. Now, I understand that if you're skiing or just snowboarding, you probably won't have a pack on at all, but skiers and snowboarders also do wear packs, and depending on the weight that's in there, you may have a bit of an issue with the position of these and have them cutting into your body. What do you think?
Well, I mean, I on the whole, I didn't have an issue with that. There were a couple of times, I think, yeah, 1 or 2 times max, that I noticed, oh, that's right underneath my bag straps. So I just tucked in with my thumbs, tucked them out the way, and then it wasn't a problem. But maybe a way around that is just to bring the attachment points slightly further in. Now, I appreciate you might still want it on the edge of this, but you could have that edge, you know, flaring outward. And so this actually bit attaches closer to the center. Maybe that might be a way of getting it out of the way. For me, it wasn't by much. You know, if it could just move towards the center by maybe an inch or two, that might solve the problem.
I think maybe if it was just actually lower down to there, it would then actually be out of the way, because your backpack strap would actually then cut here, whereas here your backpack strap is going to start coming over the top of the collarbone to the mid.
Take out those.
To the mid shoulder.
Here maybe, but
yeah, but really smooth and really lovely. So I think for me, Josh is right. I did, and you can just move them out of the way. But when I have a piece of kit, I don't want to have to change anything what's on the design, and for the design with a heavy backpack, it is in the way. So that's something to consider.
I just one more thing to add on the buckles is I found towards the end of the day, pretty much every day throughout the last week, the strap has loosened and just worked its way through, so the bibs have got quite low. Now, I've worn many salopettes in my time, and I think I've only had 1 or 2 that haven't done this. But if there is a way of making this slightly tighter so that that doesn't leak through, because once you've set the height up of your straps, it's only going to be for you. Yeah. So maybe if there was another way, something more robust on the back, that you could
fixing something.
Fixing something. I don't know what that thing would be called, but so that that isn't going to come through. Because what you don't want is your trousers getting really baggy, and when you're wearing crampons, that's a catch point there if they're really baggy and knocking around.
Really love all the pockets that they've got going on here. And I actually do like these really big toggles so that when you're wearing a glove, you can locate that and grab hold of it super, super easily. Yeah. Now, Rab and Arc'teryx and Mountain Hardware, they go completely minimal on this kind of stuff, and they don't go for these because it's weight, and every gram adds up with this kit. And I am a gram counter, I really, really am. But when you're compromising between high quality and weight, sometimes you think, well, I'm going to go with a slightly heavier garment because it's just got the ergonomics and the quality that I want. And I think I found that in this garment. The quality is very, very high. The stitching is really good. The ergonomics and the usefulness of it is fantastic. And it's almost a 50-50. Would I keep the Arc'teryx bib pant, or would I have the Katana? For me, you could flip a coin. The Arc'teryx is a lot lighter, but this has a lot of ergonomic value for me, which I really, really like.
So I really like this configuration. I'm a modular kind of guy. I like having lots of different pockets. That goes my pockets for my balaclava. This one sometimes I'll put compass in. That one I'll put my over waterproof gloves on. I like having a pocket for an item. The zips themselves as well, they don't catch. Sometimes you'll have a waterproof item that you'll zip up and it will catch on something. You don't have this at all with these. They're also sealed. So if you are in the unfortunate situation where the snow has managed to get up into there, or you haven't even got your shell layer on, you've just got your bib layer on, snow's not getting in that, the damp isn't going to get into that.
Yeah, it is good. I like it as well. And you can tell that a lot of the designers of this kit, they're ex-military guys, and that modulation of compartmentalization of your stuff is quite apparent, and also quite kind of useful as well. Again, more pockets and more material adds more weight, but if you like the organization that this creates for you, then it's definitely a winner. Moving down the garment, the cut on the hips and the flexibility and the movement that you get here is really, really well thought out. I think it's brilliant. I love the big pockets. You can get, again, an ordnance survey map perfectly into either side of those leg pockets. And the side zippers, again, good grab with these handles, nice and snug fit on the sides that won't let any snow down into the pant at all. I didn't get a single bit of snow this whole week in my Katanas at all. I don't know if you did, but in all our travels, I didn't get anything inside from the top up here at all.
No, definitely not from the top section, no.
Here on the leg, you've got a very useful vent, which is actually very effective. I like how it cuts from the front of the leg to the back of the leg. So it allows the moisture to come out from the sweaty area, especially towards the back of the knee. And it's also got that microfilm there that keeps the snow out, which again is really, really good.
I did punch through the snowpack a few times with my vents undone, and that whole filter that was chock-a-block.
Filled up.
Yeah, filled up.
But didn't go through.
But it didn't go through.
Yeah.
So yeah, just give it a shot. And I didn't notice it at first, so give it a bash, and yeah, you're not getting wet.
It also comes with a Reco reflector, which is a really nice bit of reassurance for when you're in the backcountry. Now let's get down to the bottom section of this. There's a lot to talk about this. We'll try and be succinct with this. The Dyneema bottom is fantastic. We were wearing crampons all week. I got a little bit of fraying off the top of this, but I think that's just this particular garment. I don't think it's to do with my crampons snagging them or hitting them.
I didn't have a problem with that at all.
I did catch my crampons on these a couple of times and I didn't rip them, which is really good, because the Arc'teryx ones, they do feel a lot more fragile than these ones do. This cuff at the bottom, a few things about this that I would maybe change a little bit. When you're in deep snow, this the bottom end of the trouser rises up, and that's partly because the gaiter is stitched really, really high. We'll come on to the gaiter in a minute. A few issues that this did present was that sometimes in the snow this got pushed up and it would actually turn up and then it would just hold snow. Then your your crampon has a chance of snagging into that area there. So I would potentially put a pleat, a folded pleat and a button or two here, like they have on their trouser design, which is absolutely fantastic, that would actually cinch that in a little bit more and stop it from being able to get pushed up when you're walking in really deep snow.
One thing that I would change is that the material that the gaiter is made of doesn't seem to be very waterproof, which, considering this rides up often when your foot punches through the snowpack, therefore this is always exposed to snow, because what we're finding is that moisture was wicking up and then making our base layer damp. So one thing I would change is to make this completely waterproof. The second problem I have with the gaiter is, in the cold temperatures that we've been exposed to the last week, was that this elastic material lost its elasticity, and this went quite baggy. And then what I was finding often is that this hook would pop off and suddenly my foot goes through the snow, the whole thing rides up and exposes my base layer.
I think it's worth mentioning that, you know, we do understand that this is a ski and snowboard pant, and so that gaiter it looks like it's built for obviously a wider, thicker boot. And also you've got to remember that most snowboarders and skiers, they're going to be on the slopes for a day, and then they're going to go in and have a warm meal and, you know, put their kit in a dry room and then take it out the next day, and it'll be kind of like not frozen and back to normal. We were out there for a week, prolonged activity, continuously in the snow, constant minus temperatures, in boots which are not as thick or as wide as a ski boot or a snowboarding boot. So we do understand that, and I think that's part of it. For me, I didn't have as much problem as Josh did, but my crampons, my grivels, were built in such a way that they actually covered part of my gaiter and actually kept it in place. So I didn't really have any major issues with that as we were out and about. I do think that the gaiter is loose on my boots, but again, I've just explained that I think that's because what this pant is actually built for. And some of the ambassadors and the athletes on the Thrudark website, if you have a look at their profiles, they've helped design some of this stuff, and obviously it's built for those kinds of sports and not necessarily just walking and mountaineering for prolonged periods of time in the cold. One last little thing I would change on this garment is this Dyneema section here. Instead of having it working horizontally across the leg, I would actually have a triangle of it that comes up to here. The reason for that is it would help my crampons not catch on that edge, and it would just give a little bit more reassurance to help me keep my crampons out of the way of that inside leg so I don't catch it. Again, with the pleat, if this had a pleat on the back with some kind of attachment, a button system on there, that would also help to solve that problem.
So onto the Mantra base layer. Now, this is a really warm item of clothing. It is a base layer. It's got Dyneema on the knees, so they're super hard wearing. You've got Dyneema on the bum section as well, and they've got pop open button there, and these zips all the way up. Now, these are keeping me very, very warm indeed. I love wearing them around camp. Often I don't want to be wearing my waterproof layer round camp, especially if we've got an open fire there. But what I dislike a lot is I put my knee down, I'm lighting a fire or whatever, and your base layer gets wet. That doesn't happen with this Dyneema, so that's really cleverly thought out. The fit is really nice. They
great.
hug your body,
Yeah, really
keep you
good.
super, super warm. So I've really enjoyed wearing these, I have to say. What I won't do though is wear them in the UK hill walking. They're too good, if you like.
They're too good.
They're too good. You will burn up really quickly, so they're not quite as appropriate for that.
Yeah, I found, I like to, when I'm mountaineering, I do like to stay cool so I'm not sweating. The mantras are just warm. The activity that we do think they're absolutely perfect for though is husky dog sledding and snowmobiling. So when we go to the Arctic regions and other cold places, and we ourselves are either moving much more slowly or we're stationary, then the Mantra pant is a brilliant thermal layer. I mean, they are so warm. So if you are maybe afraid of getting out on the hill because you get cold really easily, then get yourself the Mantra top and bottoms. They do both the top and the bottom set, and it will really help you out. I love how they're tapered. Josh has already talked about the fit. They fit me perfectly. Again, I'm a slim build, so they fit me really well, and they've got all the great sizes to help you out for different sizes of people as well.
One thing I really like on Thrudark's website is the links they go to make sure that you get your right size. So they've got models of each of their items. You can see the size and weight of that model. So you think, oh, that fits that build quite well. I'll look at the measurements. That will sort me perfectly. They've also got lots of in-between sizes. So they've got a regular, they've got a regular long. They've got, I mean, I'm 6'3", I'm slim build, and often that puts me in a weird territory where I need the length to keep my body covered, but then I have lots of bag, and that's not great. But with these lots of in-between sizes, it's sort of, you know, it covers all the bases.
Yeah, definitely. Their size structure is really good,
Yeah.
and I think they've got something that would probably fit anybody. So it's really well, again, thought out, and good designs and good fit for different kinds of people.
Yeah, it's almost like they've cherry-picked all the good bits from lots of different websites and gone, right, well, we're going to make something that really is, you know, useful to everyone.
We also want to mention the Charge trouser. You can see them on the website. For us, the Charge trouser is a fantastic trouser. We haven't got them on right now because we're in the mountains. But when we're in the woods doing survival skills and bushcraft with clients, the Charge trouser for me is probably one of the best fitting and quality trousers that I've worn. And the thing that I really love about the Charge trouser is the very top and the very bottom. The very bottom has an elasticated fitment with popper buttons, and it also has the ability to fit around your foot like a gaiter. And I've been in deep water past the top of my boots with the Charge trouser on. Yes, the trouser gets wet, but I don't get any water in my boots, and I really like that about them. I'm quite a skinny waist, and the Charge trouser has a brilliant ratchet system with Velcro for the waist, where you can pull it in and it's elasticated, and then you can fit it with Velcro and then leave it there and it stays there all the time. Of course, it's got belt loops, so you can put a belt with it, but you can make it fit without the belt if you want to, and I really like that.
So the thing that I love most about the Charge trousers is the Dyneema that is, you know, it's on a lot of their kit, but it is a super hard wearing material. They've used that for the knee pads. Now, I'm sort of a die-hard Fjallraven trouser particularly fan. I really like how they're built, but the knees, while their G1000 material has been, you've got a double layer on the knees, that will wear through. You don't get that with Dyneema. It's super solid. The pockets as well, nice big cargo pockets on the side. your usual pockets where phone pocket, keys that they go in. But on the front, you've also got 2 button pockets. One of them has got a small pocket that you could put maybe some cash in or card. If we're hill walking, I'm not going to be carrying my full wallet, so that's a good place to put that. They're just solid as well. They've you know, gone the same route as other brands with a kind of a elasticized, I hesitate to say spandex type material, but that's what it kind of feels like on the inner leg.
It's for comfort.
It's for comfort, but I mean, you know, the first thing to go on a pair of trousers that don't have that is the groin. It will pop, and then I'm always sending them to my local seamstress to get that sorted, but you don't have that problem. But this particular stretchiness, it's a bit more rugged than those of other trousers that I've got. So it will stretch to a degree, but without losing elasticity over time, which I've found with other trousers. So that's very cool.
Yeah, they're very good. I think just to wrap this up in finishing, me personally, for Polaris Outdoor, for what we do, we go to every environment on Earth. We go all over the world, more than 80 countries. Our staff have been to more than 100 countries around the world, and we're always looking for equipment that can fit the bill for multi-activities, but also stand up to the really, really tough conditions that we find ourselves in so often. And I think for me, Thrudark, they fit the bill. They do what we want it to do, which is to be able to go to tough places, survive those tough places really, really well. It's got great thinking and innovation behind the design, and the quality of their stuff is really, really good. I think I could definitely recommend it. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. It works that perfect line between, you know, in the woods, bushcraft skills, which needs to be tough, rugged, getting snagged on trees all the time. It's good for that, but then I can wear them in the mountains, and it hasn't got that heaviness that a lot of, you know, bushcraft equipment can have. So I'm really impressed with it. I've been warm this entire week, despite the harshest conditions that Scotland can throw at us, so that's a big plus for me.
Guys, thanks for watching this review of Thrudark's equipment. We hope you enjoyed it, and keep an eye out on the Polaris YouTube channel for more content.
Cheers.